because you think about that, I believe it's called disable your side V into a
yes.
fair, and that can kill at like 80-90%, but we're not getting that. We're getting the dark against Joker.
It just has that classic DLC privilege, right? A character that is incredibly strong, wants to close out, wants to make a pretty large myriad of space, but Praetorian gonna be trying to do the opposite. Wants to rely, I'm sure, a lot on these arrows, as pit players traditionally do.
Well, and the other thing that Pit does very well is extend their combos by using relatively safe aerials. Like right here, how you react to these nairs hitting you is it essentially arms the Pit with information to say, okay, if I know you're going to tech out, I can go for the electroshock because it does have armor. The only reason I know this is because I played friendlies versus one of my friends who now mains Pit, and I have been punished so religiously by that electroshock as young Link. I am almost like feeling secondhand pain for Pado.
The trauma has fully set in about the electroshock. Absolutely. We saw a very quick moment there. It was 76 to 76, and now we see an immediate, 50% combo coming out from the side of Pado, regaining space, really utilizing the Arsene, and the only way I think you can define a large amount of success in a moment like this is constantly looking for those openers, looking to get early hits with Arsene, creating space and following through off of it. You let Arsene burn away, Joker, he gets a lot worse when his big brother's not around.
Well, and the one thing that I would say is we always jokingly refer to Arsene as the boogeyman amongst my friends groups. And look, once the bad man comes out, you have to give him that space. But a good close coming out on the side of Jerry, just doing really good. I'm sorry, not Jerry. That's the Switch name, but doing really good with the Pit to find ways to close out these stocks. One thing I will caution though, hit smashes are a lot safer than they look, man.
Yeah, they're definitely not that traditionally punishable move you'd expect. Pit, I think, as well, has this weird benefit to him, even as Praetorian loses that stock. I'm still going to compliment Pit here, where I think he's a lot faster than people give him credit for. It's like, yeah, he's pretty fast, we all know that, but he can tank some moves pretty early out the gate and really take you off your feet before you even notice you were hit. It's a lot of the way Praetorian can find value up close. The forward smash is a surprisingly fast move. Grab into down throw, goes for the forward, or the up air follow through, not able to land it, but even if you lose this one, it's about making it as expensive as possible, and that goes for either side here. It's about making sure that your opponents don't walk away with a quick and easy win.
Yeah, and not just like disabling the win condition in that sense, but also finding ways to keep your tempo up before the Arsene comes up. We see we're only at 31% and the Arsene's almost out. If you are very hard read coming out on the side of Pado, but Praetorian can find ways to get back into this game, and I think part of it right now is juggling the Arsene and basically knocking it out of him, but can't do that when the stock trades that fast.
Yeah, the stock trade happens once again. Praetorian finds themselves in another one stock disadvantage state, finds a really decent combo, goes for a double up air, and it's not really a commit I like to see from Pit, because that's a pretty long move, and your opponent, as we just saw, can slip right past it and punish you for it. If they just kind of take the scenic route and go around, it's not going to be able to find that value you'd want in a circumstance like that. 81 to 67, Pado in a really comfortable position to try and win this. Forward smash not able to land, grab misses as well. Pistols come out for just a moment, trying to close that gap. Oh, that could be the stock. Tries to read a roll, but instead, it's Praetorian who breaks through. Gets a little bit more damage. Enters triple digits. Pado not far behind, but still an entire stock in the lead right now.
Doing very good right now, keeping up. Yeah, well, this is 1-0 to death away. Ooh, never mind, you exploded.
That'll get you. That's how they get you. You look away for a moment, and all of a sudden you explode. You hate to see it.
You know, that they call it the commentator's curse for a reason. I'm sitting here about to say, I'm like, you were just one good Pit combo. Oopsie, never mind. You're just kind of sitting there and like in real time, you're just kind of like, uh-oh.
Yeah, and it's funny because they actually gentlemen's to PS2 that time. That was an agreement. Bans come through for the second set. PS2 is one of the immediate bans out the gate, so maybe that was just way closer than they wanted. They don't trust their performance on PS2, and they want to go somewhere a little more comfortable.
It's like you've said a couple times when we've talked about this. PS2 isn't necessarily a true neutral stage.
It's just
a
popular one.
Yeah, it's what people have kind of consensus agreed. Oh, well, we all like this, right? You like PS2. It's kind of like when your friends are ordering pizza. It's like, you'll get pizza. It's like, we're just going to get pepperoni. You like pepperoni, right?
Yeah,
and it's
like pepperoni.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I'll eat it. I'm not going to like turn my nose at it, but there's probably something that's more agreeable for everyone. Maybe it's town or something else.
It's certainly not the map that was just chosen, Dux. I'll tell you that much. It's certainly not the stage we're going to. Uh-oh. It's certainly not Pokemon Stadium 2 going into Final Destination.
I see it for the pit. Hold on, I see the line.
Sure.
You can't land. You can't land. But why would you leave that open if you're on the side of Joker?
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe it's the drag downs become more efficient. Like if you get a drag down combo, you really can't escape, and there's no platforms to stagger that damage. But at the same time, for why?
This is going to be fascinating because I think both Pit and Joker are going to find a lot of value in playing Pokemon Stadium 2, and then they get almost the equated value here on Final Destination. An early rushdown combo from Pado onto Praetorian finds 26% versus Pit off stage, but Pit doesn't mind. He usually likes being off stage, where he can find a lot of sneaky little values. Values not working out well, though, as we see Pado still at 0%. 60% combo. This would still count as a 0 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's still counting, but the biggest thing is that Praetorian is just playing slow and almost playing more reactive than they are proactive.
Sure.
Okay, finally landing the hit, but the biggest thing is they're just spacing moves around the pit, waiting for a whiff.
Yeah, just waiting for that time to strike. This is a difficult playstyle in Smash Ultimate because you have to rack up a lot of damage on yourself to make this worthwhile. You have to play very cautiously, and you want to kind of farm and look for those small pick opportunities. We see this happen a lot in Rocket League as well, but it's a lot harder to pull off, like I said. In Smash, you take this much damage, it's difficult to rack up your own combos now because your main concern is going to be, okay, make sure you don't get hit or you're going to die.
Yeah, and right now it's just starting to become a percent where this is great and well and good that you've racked up all this percent, but where are you going to find your connect and kill move at 140 plus? It's just very hard to tether together that string of damage.
Oh,
or never mind.
Speaking of damage, there's a lot of it coming out from the side of Pado here. Wants to bring Iona into a winning condition. If they were able to win this on the side of Praetorian, I don't think it would mathematically guarantee the win for Fairfield, but it would make it a heck of a lot easier. Now with Iona possibly walking away with a win, it's a 10-7. You win this with even one stock. You've tied us up 10-10. Pado has the win condition in their sights. They can give us a tied game going into the fifth and final set of the night.
Yeah, and trying to find any way that they can to claw back into this. If Pado is able to close this game with a little more of an oomph, it's an all or nothing game 5, like you said, that we get down to with this team.
An all or nothing game 5. It'd be the first time in a while we've seen one of those, honestly. These teams have been pretty dominant, and we've been able to see kind of a game 3 or game 4 shift where game 5 has been for bragging rights. But right now, this one feels like it could be for all the marbles. Pado just needs to confirm 2 more stocks, and they can call this a game 5 tied up match.
Oh, Pado's doing a really good job right now, and I like these edgers just being calm enough to have the presence of mind off stage to force a Pit to miss a recovery. Very rare that we see characters like Pit miss that type of recovery.
Now, I should specify early, that's a worst case scenario Pado win is tied. If Pado 3 stocks, it's going to be 12-10 in favor of Iona. They lose a lot of the middle, and it's more about the outsides of the sandwich than it is the contents inside of it. Praetorian needs to find something. You want to make this expensive, and right now it very likely could be a 3-stock. Arson online, 20% combo. You've got yourself back on the stage. A double arc fire is going to be able to find a little bit more. 41% on the board, up and over the electroshock. This is starting to feel scary for Praetorian. The 3-stock could be just around the corner.
Yeah, 3 stocks right around the corner, and you can see fishing for that dare. Pado really just racking up all this extra credit right now, and just missing the space on the punishment right now. But okay, finally finding a way to close the gap. Praetorian trying to even this up and try and at least close that gap a little bit more for the side of Fairfield.
Gap has not been closed quite yet. Fairfield finding themselves at the edge of disaster, just like that. Third and final stock gone. That's Pado bumping them up to 9 with the 2 stocks he has. 2 more points or winning it puts them up 11-10. Iona a single point in the lead right now. This is where this team wants to be going into set number 5, which, if I had to use my deductive reasoning skills here, is going to be Nier versus Kibbs.